Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jayasurya. I'm a study abroad advisor, an Ivy League graduate, and the director of Dr. Raju's Study Abroad Advisory. Over the past 16 years, my team has guided more than 5,000 students in their university application process and helped them prepare to crack the student visa interviews. In this video, I'm going to gather all our collective experience and sort of give you an insight into what are the common questions that you might face in a student visa interview and how do you prepare them to crack your interview. The F1 visa interview is a chance for the US visa officers to test your readiness to pursue a master's education and also to verify your overall profile that you have submitted, the information that you have submitted in your DS-160 form. You can expect questions such as, why are you pursuing your master's, how are you going to fund your master's, your knowledge about the curriculum, your plans post your master's degree, etc., etc. Before we dive into the kind of questions that you can expect in a visa interview, one thing you have to keep in mind is that not all visa interviews are long. You don't get too many questions. On many occasions, visa officers just ask you a couple of questions, with the interview lasting to a maximum of 2 or 3 minutes. But on some occasions, you might get asked multiple questions based on the visa officer, right? Sometimes the interview might last as long as 10 minutes. This is very rare, but it's always better to be prepared. So let's dive into it and understand what are the kind of questions you might face in a visa interview. To simplify this process for you, I have divided the kind of questions into 4 different categories, and within each category, I have also segregated into common questions and rare questions. So let's dive in. The category number 1 questions are about your study abroad plans. Visa officers would like to know how prepared are you, for your master's program and how well you understand the curriculum, or how well you know about the university that you're going to study in. So some of the very common questions are, why did you choose this particular program? Why did you choose to pursue masters in this particular university? On rare occasions, you might also be asked questions such as, tell us something about the curriculum, what are the courses that you like that you will be picking during your first semester or second semester, etc. Or name any faculty members that you really like in the university. These are rare questions, but these are possible. We have had students who were asked these questions as well. To answer such kind of questions confidently, you should first thoroughly research the master's program website and the university website. You should make note of things such as the kind of courses offered in your master's program, the unique features about the curriculum of your master's program, right? What are the kind of job opportunities that will open up post your master's, what are the kind of skills you'll gain in your master's, etc. And you should also note down information about your, the university, like the location, some unique features, all of which are in fact readily available online. There are so many websites, there's so many forums where a lot of information is available on all these regards. You should make sure that the visa officer gets an impression that you are well researched about what you're doing and where you're pursuing your master's. You also get some rare questions regarding your university applications, such as how many universities have you applied to, how many admits or rejects have you gotten, why did you choose this university over the other university, etc. First of all, it's always safe to apply for more than one university. Most of our students apply to at least 6 universities, and it's always good to have more than one admit. If you have multiple admits, you should be prepared to answer why did you choose University A over University B. It could be cost, it could be reputation, it could be location, close to a IT hub or an industrial region. It could be multiple reasons such as those. But you should be prepared well. You cannot give vague answers such as, I chose this university because most of my friends are going there. I chose this university because my relatives live around that university, etc. Such kind of answers will definitely get you a reject. The next very important category of questions is regarding proof of funding. The visa officers want to know how are you going to fund your master's education for those 1 or 2 years that you'll be staying in the US. The most common question here is who is sponsoring your education and how. One thing to keep in mind is that your sponsors should be your blood relations, like your parents, grandparents, siblings, etc. Avoid making uncles or aunts as your sponsors unless you do not have your blood relations. Coming to the proof of funds, they can be in the form of savings in the bank account, education loan, fixed deposits or FDs, provident fund or PF, and stock market investments, etc. The minimum amount you show as proof of funds should be 1.5 times the amount mentioned in your I-20. This is because in your I-20, the amount that is mentioned includes tuition and living expenses for just 1 year. Since your program will be 1.5 or 2 years long, you just multiply that amount into either 1.5 or 2 times to arrive at a figure that you need to show as proof of funds. This will show that you have enough funds to continue your masters for the entire duration of the program. One very important thing to keep in mind is, if at all you are going with an education loan, do not show the entire amount in the form of education loan. A significant part should also be shown in the form of savings or PF or FD. This is because, see, education loan is not an asset, it's a liability, right? So you should also show that you have enough savings and FD or PF in order to support you through your master's journey. Now, if you have all that prepared and the visa officer will ask you, how are you going to sponsor your education? You can say, my father is going to sponsor my education. He has $40,000 saved up for my education in his bank account, and we have an approved education loan of $35,000. Together, this funds will cover my living and tuition fee for the duration of my master's program. That's it, simple. The visa officers might also ask you questions such as, what do your parents do? What is their source of income? What is their salary, etc. This is to see if your sponsors have a stable income to keep supporting you throughout your education journey. So be prepared to answer them because they are pretty straightforward. The next segment of questions is regarding your post-master's plans. The visa officer would like to know what will you be doing after your master's education. Here they'll be specifically scrutinizing whether you want to settle down in the US permanently or not. Ideally, the visa officer would not want you to be an immigrant, that is someone who would want to settle in the US permanently. You might get questions such as, what are your post-master's plans? What are you planning to do with your master's education? How is your master's education going to help in your future career? What will you be doing immediately after your master's education, etc. To answer these questions, you have to prepare well of what is your sort of job strategy when you come back to India. You can say stuff such as, with a master's degree, when you come back to India, many senior level job roles open up for you where the pay is much higher compared to the pay that you get with a bachelor's degree. Now, this is a very generic answer. You can be specific, right? Let's say you're coming from a data science or a biomedical or an EC background. You can say specific job roles that will open up for you if you have a master's education. Because see, studying in the US, studying in a different country will give you the kind of exposure, the kind of skills, that will get higher pay. So you can talk about those things while you're answering this question. Sometimes you'll get asked rare questions such as, what is the guarantee that you will come back to your country? Now, this is sort of a tricky question to answer, but here's something that has worked for our students who got this question. You can say things such as, I have my family over here who are permanently settled over here. I have all my properties here. So I do not see myself living or settling in the US because I already have a comfortable life here in India. So you can tackle those kind of questions with such an answer. The next segment of questions that you will face is regarding your academic background or work experience, right? Here the visa officer wants to know how well prepared are you to pursue masters in the field you are applying to, right? You might get common questions such as, in which stream did you pursue your bachelor's in? What is your work experience? What is the kind of job role you've applied to? When did you pass out? And what have you done ever since you have passed out from the university? And many such questions regarding your background. You also might get some rare questions, such as, what is your final year project on? What have you worked on? What are the programming languages or tools you have learned to finish this project? Tell me about a project in your job role, etc. To tackle such kind of questions, it's best to prepare well. You should anticipate questions regarding all these things, and they shouldn't catch you off guard. Although there are many of these are very rare questions, they don't get too deeper into it, but you should not be caught off guard. Because when you're giving your visa interview, sometimes the conversation, just for the sake of conversation or out of curiosity for the visa officer, they might ask you some deeper level questions. So if you answer those questions confidently, I'm damn sure you will get your visa. Sometimes you also might get questions regarding your test scores, like what is your GRE score or what is your IELTS score, etc. I was asked about my GRE score. So these are the four main segments into which questions come. There is also a few set of questions that have categorized them under the miscellaneous category. Here you can be asked random questions regarding your background and your plans. You can expect questions such as what is your academic percentage, did you have any backlogs, what will you do if your visa is rejected, although very rare, even that question was asked, what will you do if your visa is rejected. They might even ask about what is the collateral for your education loan. First, is your education collateral or non-collateral? If collateral, what is the collateral of your education loan, to whom that property belongs, and many other miscellaneous questions you might face. Although these are rare, you might face such miscellaneous questions. You should also be prepared to be asked some technical questions. For example, if you're applying for a business analytics program, you might face questions such as, what do business analysts do? The idea is to be prepared for all these questions that we have discussed in this video, to just make a mental note of all these things. It's not that you will be asked many questions. Most probably your visa interview would wrap up in a couple of minutes, but it's always good to be prepared. So that's about it, guys. Those are the questions that you might face. Before I end this video, I'm going to leave you with a few expert tips that you need to keep in mind while you're preparing for your visa interview. Number one is always open the conversation with your visa officer with a smile and a greeting. See, this is not your typical, job interview. It is just a conversation with a professional there. So try to keep a conversation going. Try to keep a conversational attitude rather than a strict interview attitude, right? So that's my tip number one. Tip number two is avoid talking about your relatives living in the US. Unless they are like your blood relations, like your siblings or parents, unless that is there, and unless the visa officer brings it up, do not even go near the blood relation. The next tip is avoid talking about pursuing a job in the US as much as possible. Even though if it is a temporary plan, even though it's not permanent, it might miscommunicate to the visa officer that you have some sort of plans to settle down in the US. So you'll be a potential immigrant. So try to avoid that topic as much as possible. And the next most important tip is avoid going for visas with a low quality university. See, many consultancies, local consultancies out there promote very low quality universities, about 10 to 15 of them. And we have many students who come for our visa mock interview services after first attempt being rejected. And among these rejected students, we have seen that a lot of them belong to these 10-15 universities, low-grade universities that consultancies have made them apply. So avoid, going to interviews to such kind of universities. Only choose good public universities which are not, very frequented by Indians. The next tip is the most obvious. Do not forget to carry all the important documents such as your passport, your I-20, your service fee receipt, your interview confirmation letter, etc., etc. And finally, do not dress too casually for your visa interview. Try to maintain a semi-professional or a professional attire. It could be a shirt and a pant for men and a top and a trouser for women. That's about it, guys. Those are the most crucial tips and all the important information regarding the kind of questions you would face in a visa interview. I hope that was helpful. If at all you have any questions regarding the visa interview, you can ask us, you can comment below. We understand that not everyone comes from an ideal setting or an ideal situation. So you might be confused regarding different things, right? So do comment below and we'll try to answer them at the earliest. And also just another thing, every year we help more than 500 students in their visa interviews. We conduct a lot of mock interviews to students, especially those students who have certain difficulties in their background, etc. So do check our services out. Our contact details are below. And I've also dropped a link of the common questions that you will face in a visa interview. That link will be in the description below. You can download that document and sort of prepare those questions. Make a mental note of all your answers before you attempt your interview. All right, if at all you found this information helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting many important topics on this channel, so it might help you. Thank you so much for listening.